Funding for this program comes from Freedom First, where people bank for good. freedomfirst.com. With additional support from these sponsors and the American Advertising Federation of Roanoke.
They're not the rich and famous. Their profit comes not from the thing they sell, but the good they do. Our nation has more than 1.5 million nonprofits that employ 1 out of 10 Americans, providing services that otherwise go unfulfilled, keeping our community connected when all else fails. But nonprofits often lack the tools to properly promote themselves, to inspire more donors and volunteers and clients to their cause. That's where I come in. I've been in the nonprofit world for nearly 20 years. I connect nonprofits with marketing professionals who donate their time and expertise so that, at the end of the day, these life-giving organizations can do more, do better, by creating more, that's right, buzz.
My name is Jessica Tudor, and Lewis Tudor was my husband. From the outside, people would know Lewis Tudor as a businessman downtown. We owned a biscuit restaurant for 28 years. We closed in 2012, and after that, he chose to be a swim coach, which was his passion. And he would have done that his whole life if it would have paid the bills. Yeah, he was a father of 4. We were together for 30 years. He coached all of our kids, supported them through all their swim careers, even the ones that chose not to swim in college. Surfing, outdoors, they all like to hike and be outdoorsy people. He was just a great man and a great father, a wonderful husband most of the time. Can we say that? He drove us crazy. He had such a zest for life. He woke up at 4 a.m. every morning, ready to go. Like he was happy about everything every day. And he didn't want to waste 1 second of any day for anything. He just wanted to go coach. He wanted to swim. He wanted to work out. He wanted to fish. He wanted to be with his friends. He wanted to be with his family. When COVID happened, he was very regimented. He liked to get up at 4 a.m., swim, coach again, take a nap, coach, and swim again. That was his life. So when COVID happened, lockdown kind of threw him for a loop. He was getting squirrely, not sleeping, started getting a little paranoid about his friends and life in general. He thought he thought he had money issues, and he did not. He needed his regimen and being isolated, and the swim people are his community. That was like we call it their swamily, like swimmers and family. He even when swimming started back, we thought that would get him back to normal, but he was spiraling.
My name is Christy Cundiff. I'm a licensed professional counselor, and I'm the president of the Tudor House Board. The family and friends that Lewis had, he was actually able to get into psych services much quicker than others. But at that time, the idea was to start from scratch with medication management, and rightfully so, but there wasn't any supervision around what that looked like. And when someone is taken off all medications, to be able to figure out what medications work best and what don't, it has its effects. And so that could have been a piece of the puzzle as well. And the virtual appointments, I mean, it was, we were communicating that it was a crisis situation, but then sometimes virtually you present okay and you present like you're doing fine. And oftentimes in counseling sessions, people want to please the person in front of them, so they may not be comfortable or have developed the trust to be able to say what they're truly feeling, because sometimes there's shame and embarrassment connected to mental illness, especially if you don't understand what's happening.
Lewis woke up at that morning looking at the computer, and he thought that we were going to go to jail for not paying bills. And I said, Lewis, we have enough money to pay our bills. He's like, no, Jess, you don't understand. And I told him I had to get some sleep, and I went back to sleep. And when I woke up, he was not there. He told me he was going fishing when I texted him, and his GPS said that he was on the river. So I thought he was fishing, and that would be good for him because he loved the outdoors. My stepson called me worried because he had called him. My stepdaughter called me worried because he had called her. My mom called me worried because he called her as well. And then I got nervous, and I woke my son up and asked him to go help me find his dad. And I was a little worried. I wasn't panicking, but I was worried. And then my stepdaughter called me back and said that he had left her a weird message. So at that point, I decided to go to the police department and get an emergency custody order. And I filled out the paperwork. And 5 minutes later, my son called me screaming.
What was he screaming about?
That my husband jumped from the roof in front of him. And my friend Stephanie was with him too.
What happened after that?
I ran out screaming. Matt from Texas Tavern, he and Lewis were friends, and he heard me. I screamed at him, and he came over, and he ran around the corner to see, and he came back and started yelling at everybody to call 911. There was a million people around, but I couldn't tell you who. They were all trying to comfort us, but we were just screaming. Then Christy showed up and comforted us, and then Nina came and comforted us. Everybody just came immediately. Family, friends showed up because word spread quickly in Roanoke. And we came back to the apartment after we were done talking to the police, and the house filled with our friends and family.
We were all sitting right over here in the kitchen, and we were wanting to create a foundation in the beginning. So Jess's daughter, Hannah, and several of her friends just immediately started a GoFundMe that blew up, and it was amazing to see the support. And then when we started to reach out to figure out who to give money to, we actually couldn't find anyone in the community that specialized in suicide prevention, education, and support.
Yeah, nothing made sense at that time, so something had to make sense. We were all shocked, and it was the most pain you could imagine. And Christy came up with the idea that we would do something about it. I think she was trying to comfort us above all else. And it's the only thing, something good had to come out of something so horrible. It was so tragic. And I just think of other people in the community that have turned things around and done something positive with a tragedy. So it kind of made sense at the time.
Yeah, so one of the things I do in my day job is I've had the opportunity to go into school systems when someone has died by suicide and help the school community heal. So I tried to take what I knew from that and how over time I've been able to get feedback on what works and what doesn't work. And I mean, it doesn't take a week or a month, it's years, but it's a start. So I thought to myself, how can I take what I've learned from that and help a community heal, not just a school, but myself and my closest friends and the community as a whole. And that was the basis. And then we got so many great opinions and feedback and support, and our board grew so quickly that it just became a very easy decision to establish it and keep it going.
I just want people to know that this can happen to anybody. I never thought this before. I thought we were immune because we had enough love and support that this would never happen to our family. So I just want people to know that it can happen and it's okay to talk about it and not be embarrassed to worry about being embarrassed about having to get people involved to help you, and that sometimes you need help. But I want people to know that Lewis loved life and he would have done anything to be here. He wasn't himself.
The thing that I hope that people remember of Lewis is his smile. He was definitely gifted in a lot of ways, but he saw the best in people, even when they didn't see the best in themselves. And so I think he would be proud of what we're doing and the legacy that we're leaving behind. My name is Dr. Kathleen Thorell. I'm the Executive Director of Tudor House. Virginia Children's Theater I have been a part of for over 10 years, I believe. My children have been a part of their classes and their camps and productions. Well, the universe works in wonderful ways, and when they decided to tackle the issue of suicide last year, they reached out to Tudor House, not even knowing that I was the executive director. And so our worlds collided and we started this wonderful collaboration where I was so thankful to have an organization that was willing to talk about suicide and to educate others in such a creative way. So I knew whatever they did was going to be amazing.
My name is Brett Roden. I'm the producing artistic director of Virginia Children's Theater.
My name is Jean Bollendorf, and I am the Director of Development for Virginia Children's Theater.
I'm Olivia Brown. I'm in the 9th grade, and I've been participating in camps and shows with VCT for about 3 years.
My name is Ben Armstrong. I'm in 10th grade, currently homeschooled, and I have been a part of VCT for the past year and a half.
Virginia Children's Theater is the professional theater in the state of Virginia, solely dedicated to youth, schools, and families.
Well, we were born here in Roanoke, and so and we were Roanoke Children's Theater for a number of years. However, we have expanded beyond Roanoke and have been doing programming for a number of years. We work out in Smith Mountain Lake area through Smith Mountain Lake Good Neighbors. We do some work in the New River Valley. We also work in Martinsville and Henry County, and we tour across the state. Each year we tour a play every spring and early summer, and that goes to about 50 or 55 different venues around the state of Virginia.
Some of my favorites have been The Bird Woman and Mary Poppins. Singing Feed the Birds was such a great experience, and I've been a Munchkin in like a Wizard of Oz themed concert, and that was really fun. And I've been an ancestor in the Addams Family, and that was a blast.
My first role here was Sultan in Aladdin Jr. I understudied for the role of Aladdin, and then since then I played Bert and Mary Poppins, Herb and Judy B. Jones the musical, and then Lucas and Addams Family, and then Prince Topher and Cinderella.
For me, it's all about life skills. Yes, we're here to produce top-notch professional theater and offer high-quality music theater and dance instruction, but it's more than that. It's about training our young people to be the next leaders in our community and beyond, whether they go on to have a professional musical theater career or are a doctor, a teacher, a lawyer, that we're teaching them those life skills to speak professionally, to carry themselves as professionals, to not be timid, to speak their mind, to articulate, and all of those personal skills.
VCT has helped me off stage tremendously in like all aspects of my life, just like being more confident and being able to articulate myself.
I was kind of a shy person. If I was asked to do this a year ago, I probably could not have done this kind of setting. And so yeah, I've just become I guess, prouder like of my own skin and like prouder of myself. And that's kind of helped me on stage and off stage.
Really, the goal of VCT for Teens is to provide an important program for that age group. You know, a lot of what we do through Virginia Children's Theater is geared almost toward a lower age group, an elementary age group, maybe a pre-K through 5th grade. And so with the teen program, we're really directing something that's almost at an adult level, and we're directing it specifically at teens in our community who may need help navigating social and health issues that concern them.
This year, we will be conquering Apologies, which is a play by Brian Crale, which involves a young girl who has committed suicide. The piece starts with her ending her life, and then it works backwards, not necessarily in order, but all the events that happened previously to that. She spends some of the time in her guidance counselor's office talking about some of these things. She spends some of her time in her home talking with her mother and her stepfather about this, and then some of the time in the locker room with her two girlfriends talking about these issues. And it kind of digs into what she felt alone about, what resources she didn't get, and then what resources she did seek that ultimately led her to take her own life.
You wonder, like, was it something I did, something I said, and you wish you could apologize to them. And the person who commits suicide often might write an apology because they feel guilty, but they just don't know how to express themselves and articulate their emotions to other people. So I think there's just the theme of apologies on both sides and everyone who is affected when someone commits suicide.
So my name's Heather Lanza, and I am down from New York City. I'm a New York City-based director, producer, and arts educator. And I'm here because I have the honor and the privilege of directing the VCT for Teens production of Apologies.
Well, if you're not careful, you're going to end up like Mrs. Riley.
I feel like that's...
I think a big hope for me for the piece is to not just ask for the folks who are seeing themselves in Jennifer, the main character, you know, what more can I do if I'm struggling with depression, but really to kind of ask a more general question for everyone of what can you do to spot signs of depression? What can you do to spot signs of suicidal ideation and you know, anxiety and these things that we're struggling with in the people around you? And how can you feel empowered to feel like you have the tools to have the right kind of conversations with them, to seek out the right kind of resources, and to really sort of reflect on that sort of community responsibility of community care. Like, I think that is a big hope for me, for the audience to leave thinking about, you know, for Roanoke and for kind of the bigger, you know, country at large, really.
I feel like we're next level now.
While VCT prepared to produce Apologies, Michael Craighead, owner of Nero Digital Design in Salem, had been working with Kathleen Thorell on a new website for Tudor House. Now, he was ready to raise the curtain on his own production.
Welcome, Kathleen. It's finally nice to meet you in person.
You too.
It's we've had some Zoom calls, but thank you for the opportunity to work with you on redoing the Tudor House website.
We were kind of just flying by the seat of our pants when we put the website together.
The first thing that stood out to us was a lot of the content on your site was image heavy. So when you place content on the site or an image on the site that has text on it, Google, other search engines are not going to be able to pick up on that content. So one of the things that we wanted to address was take that content off the image and then put it on the actual site itself. Another thing, one of the most important things was the call to actions. So y'all need donations, and we wanted to make it very easy for people to get in contact with y'all and donate either their time or their money to your foundation. And then one of the most important things in my eyes is having a cohesive brand. And that was one of the things that we tried to address too, is keep your colors consistent, your typography, The images just all in line with your brand guidelines. All right, so now for the big reveal. So this is your new website.
Looks great.
So the resources page can be used as an actual resource now. So people have easy access to the numbers, the emails that they need to, whether they want to contact the National Crisis Hotline. The numbers are here and they're linked if you're on your phone.
You know, if they are in crisis, they're not having to then dial the number. They can just click on it.
Yep, it's going to bring up the dial pad and it's going to ask them to just simply click send and they can get on that crisis line.
That's great. Well, we appreciate this so much. You've done an amazing job with updating our website and making it welcoming, like Tudor House wants to be, and easy to find the resources and having everything right there at their fingertips so that they can find it and sometimes find it fast if they need to. So we just appreciate all your work and your honoring of our mission.
Good, that's so good to hear. Thank you very much for the opportunity. I'm so glad y'all are pleased with this site.
It's great working with you.
You too. Thank you.
Each year, VCT conquers some sort of current teen issue. Today's production is a part of our annual VCT for Teens program geared for teen audiences and families to help guide conversation. At this time, we are thrilled to present our 2022 VCT for Teens production of Apologies. Enjoy.
Help me. How? Help me. How? I can't. Yes. I can't. Yes. I can't. How? How?
My name is Annie Slump. I'm 18 years old and I'm a senior at North Cross School. Depression is something that I've always dealt with, but especially being in COVID and in quarantine, I mean, it got significantly worse just being closed off from everything. So I think that's like the main struggle I had last year.
Dear Mom, I'm sorry I've been acting strange. I've been feeling strange though, and I don't know what to do about it. I want to try and explain, but it's not always easy to find the time. When we do, I don't know what to say.
Instead of like just listening to a seminar or a lecture, you're getting to watch a performance being done. And especially too, the thing that I think differentiates between a play and like a seminar or lecture is that you have people actually acting and giving their heart into a performance, to where a lecture is just kind of like a boring talk that most people aren't interested in. So being able to watch people kind of act through a real scenario that was actually real, it really brought to life how important suicide and like mental health is.
I have morbid thoughts. I dream about dying. The dreams aren't bad though, they're kind of relaxing. Isn't that odd? It's got to be something I'm eating, right? Too much of something I like and not enough of something I need, a bad diet, a chemical imbalance, all kinds of great explanations.
And I love that the Tudor House provides such a safe area for kids of all ages and even adults.
I don't even know if I'll be around this weekend. Where are you going? Are your folks leaving town? No, not going anywhere. Well, then what's the story? I've just been depressed, okay? I'm not going to be making any commitments. You know? Sure, I understand.
Well, I don't. I mean, okay, you're depressed, but what are you gonna do? Sit at home and stare at the walls?
I'm not going to make plans I can't keep, Val. Besides, I don't know what might happen.
I just want people to know that they can reach out to them, because I feel like there's such a great resource for everybody in the Roanoke Valley and even people outside of the Roanoke Valley. And so just for people to know that they can reach out to them and that they're here to help, it's really comforting to know that we have that here in Roanoke.
Sounds silly to say, but I've seen the car coming. I've known, and I can't get out of the way. So I think to myself, please just make it go faster. I don't mind dying, I just don't want to wait anymore. I love you. Forgive me. Jennifer.
Thank you.